Hey, so something I wanted to talk with you about was I wanted to talk about my physiological psychology course, something interesting I read in my biopsychology book. So we talked about this interesting phenomenon, right? And it's known as the split brain phenomenon. And so the idea kind of goes as follows, right? So our brain is split into a left and right hemisphere, which with different sort of functions and purposes, right? There's this thick bundle of nerves called the corpus callosum that connects the two hemispheres, right? So there's some patients with extreme epilepsy, and so what they do is they actually undergo a procedure where they like try to snip it. I don't know exactly what it's called, but the purpose of this is to prevent further seizures, right? But here's kind of like something that gets interesting, right? So on the surface, patients with this procedure, nothing is really noticeable, like everything seems fine, right? However, when researchers investigated and did their research and were trying to dig into sort of the qualities of these individuals, what they would do, right, is so our left hemisphere is better at processing language and speaking and whatnot. And so when they covered these patients' left eye, right, the right eye is connected to the left hemisphere. If they read a word, they were able to say it out loud, no problem, like the word key. If they were to read key, they could just say key and it comes out, right? However, if they covered their right eye and they looked with their left eye, which is connected to the right hemisphere, they're able to see the word, point to the word, understand the word, but they weren't able to say it just because the corpus callosum, which converts, like thoughts and ideas between the two hemispheres, it just doesn't have the language processing concept, which is kind of interesting, even though they're still able to kind of like detect the word and note the word, right? And so this phenomenon kind of brings up interesting questions, right? How our brain works as one whole concept, or is it different kind of parts working all together, like left, right hemisphere, and the corpus callosum? And so this concept can even raise questions even outside of psychology with ideas with consciousness and self-identity, which kind of covers in other classes like we've talked about, like philosophy of mind that I've taken. So that was just something I really found interesting in physiological psychology, was the split brain phenomenon.